It's funny, like somebody was asking like who I was, like earlier. So I was kind of going over this like bibliography that I don't necessarily do. And it's pretty fucking incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like I built 5 unicorns. If you don't know what a unicorn is, if that is an unfamiliar term to you, it's a company that you build from the mud to have a $1 billion evaluation. That's a unicorn. I built 5 of them bitches. Like, and I don't even know really how we did it. We just did it. And then I was able to look back and go, oh, that's how we did it. That's how we did it with Echo. Oh, that's how we did it with Nouveau. Oh, that's how we did it with Maximum Apparel. Oh, that's how we did it with this one. That's how we did it. So now I can apply it to what I do now. So like when me and Joel do something and we aggregate it, we're like, oh, okay, that's low-hanging fruit. Let's go grab it. It's real simple. It's like there's no thought to doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a good beat, by the way. Yeah, that's not a bad beat. I think you played it twice, right? Maybe twice. 3 times? 3 times.
Jones never plays tracks.
Yeah,
twice.
once. Mr. Once. Love you, Mr.
Unless
Once.
he's getting paid a little for it. All right, so.
That part. 2 crates are coming by the way for this.
Right. Left turn. So here I was less than a year ago, minding my own business online. Pull up my feed, and there you fucking are with Pete performing with DJ Cassidy, right? How did that come to be? What were the dominoes that fell that got you to the point where you're actually on stage together again, doing that in that way? How did that go down?
So there's two sides to that story, right?
Okay.
I'll give you the DJ side since we're in the DJ house of Denver, right? Clark Kent was dying. And Clark had been my friend since I was 14 years old. I went to school with Dana Dane, and Clark was Dana's DJ. So I'd known Clark since I was 14 years old. If you watch the Return of the Product of the Environment remix video, that's Clark's mother's basement. So that's where the Supermen practiced. That's where I first saw Richie Rich, Scratch, Miz, Clark. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Clark wanted that from us, and we wouldn't give it to him. We wouldn't do it. And July, I said, you know what? We got this opportunity. It's the 50th anniversary of BLS, which is a radio station in New York, for those that don't know. BLS was the first station to play a third bass record. Most people think it was Kiss and Red Alert. It wasn't. It was Marley Marl and Mr. Magic. And we just felt like it was an appropriate time to get back on stage together. And, a month before, Clark died. And his wake and funeral were the day before we went on stage.
That's crazy.
So that I think is a lot of it. But I think the other part of it is, to be totally honest with you, is when I tell 55-year-old dudes that third base is back together and they do this. Yo, that's crazy. And they turn into 15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And
me included.
And I realized how selfish I was in allowing my ego and allowing my self-centered behavior to deny our fans that for this long. Now, whatever happened between us happens in the past, but to be able to go back out and still have bass heads out there that want to see us perform, like, that's crazy. Like, to not have been doing shows in 2 decades. And
right. So subsequently, you were talked a little bit about like, okay, now we're gonna maybe look at going on tour. Has that like actually come to fruition in a formal way, or are you getting reached out to like market by market, promoter by promoter, saying, hey, we want to bring third base to where we're at? Or are you trying to like bring together an actual like tour? We go from here to here to here to here. Like, how has it played out since that time in terms of like the organization of performing together like in a formal way?
Yeah, so we originally wanted to go out on tour,
right?
Like a third base reunion tour with supporting acts, and maybe we're not closing, somebody else is closing. We had a lot of iterations. The thing that was really that got us right out the gate was like all the biggest companies were reaching out to us about festivals, and it just never materialized, right? So we started to scale back, and then we were like, all right, let's just focus on like doing like, you know, shows like this. We're doing Beatstock in New York with KTU, right? So it's a real different show for us. It's like fucking, and I'm so giddy about it. I'm sorry, like I get stupid, but it's like Boy George, Right Said Fred, CC Music Factory, Robin S. Like it's fucking crazy. So like as a fan, that's crazy. And it was like one other thing. So like with that show, right? Like even though that wouldn't be a traditional third base show to do, right? It's at Jones Beach, where they shot Jerome's niece in a dome piece. We never did a show there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like we never been in fucking parking lot 4, parking lot 5. But we hung out there our whole lives. GYP, Doom, may rest in peace. Sub Rock, like yo, that was our summers. So I was like, yeah, we doing that. But we can like surround it about, you know, some other shit. So that's also just me and Pete getting comfortable on stage again. But Sarasota, Florida, September 19th, that's like our first 45-minute headlining show and like getting ready for next year. And we're going to have a really big announcement about who we're going out on tour with, but it's not a rap group. And we're going to be performing in front of 120, 130,000 a fucking night.
I love it.
So we're hoping to announce that sooner than later. So my whole thing has been like, let's just identify where the audience is, where they want to see us. But more importantly, and I'm not trying to promote Serch merch, but that was the one thing I love is that I'm able to create these experiences for our fans that are unique, right? So like Monday, we auctioned off 2 VIP passes to have brunch with me and Pete in the morning. You know, Sarasota, 4 tickets to have cigars with Pete and cognac before the show. Like just to break bread, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we're creating these experiences through the live auction, and that's really the engagement of where the audience wants to be. That's the things that they want from us. They want to feel grown. They want to have an event where they can be in bed before 11. They don't want to be outside all night, you know, but they want to have a mature experience and still feel like a B-boy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's what we're kind of encapsulating when we go on tour.
No, I love that. I love that it's still in process of actually happening, and all the fans get to you know, experience that you're talking about here soon. Second ago, you brought up Product of the Environment remix.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking to myself as I was trying to concoct some of these questions here. Cactus album Revisited to me was an interesting moment in time, because at least in that era of hip hop, it wasn't a given that like every single got remixed, and like there was there weren't stems, there weren't acapellas and instrumentals to everything, where everybody's pumping out the remix after remix. So why and how at that time in like 1992-ish did you come up with the concept to take an entire album and actually like rework the beats and put it out like as its own entity? I've always wondered a little bit how that came to be at a time where like remixing in hip hop was not as prevalent.
Yeah, so we went overseas. When Step Into the AM was breaking in the U.S., we went overseas, and we were pretty heavy in London over there. And, you know, we were really fortunate because we got to spend time with Soul to Soul. We got to spend time with Loose Ends. We got to spend time with CJ McIntosh. We got to spend time with, you know, Tim Westwood. We got to spend time, you know, with a lot of like remixers. And we really, for the time we were in London and the time we were like performing there, like we got really, especially Pete, because Pete was really, you know, he was in the crates a lot. But all of us, like, and even Doom, like, because we were all there together, like we were all like we would go to these parties and they were beautiful on fucking rooftops. We heard music and like things we had never heard and like remixes. We like, what the fuck is that? So when Cactus album came out and we knew we got them, we didn't really want to have to like go back in and make derelicts. We wanted to renegotiate. So we were like, yo, we came back with all these remixes. And Pete told Russell, maybe both of us, but I remember Pete definitely saying to Russell, yo, girls want to know. He really sold the fact to Russell that like chicks love these remixes. He's like, yo, we were going to these raves, Russell, yo, the girls were losing their minds. He was like, what? You know, Russell's eyes would pop out, really? Yo, word, say word, really? So like, you know, that's how we sold Russell on it. So it was easy, and it was easy. Like, yo, at that point, Sony could be like, yo, Third Base wants you to do a remix, CJ McIntosh. And they had Pump Up the Volume, which was literally the first time a remix became a #1 record. You know what I mean? Like, globally. And they were like, yeah, we'll just, you know what I mean? It was like, and then that, honestly, like, if you look at, like, other remixes that have come out, Semtex, 10X, like, all these global DJs in Cologne, and, yo, they do remixes on our shit forever. Like, it's crazy. So that's, and then we renegotiated for Derelicts.
But in a way, you brought like a global perspective to something that wasn't necessarily part of like hip hop as much during that time.
But here's the thing, it was because in New York, if you went to Nell's and you went to the basement and hung out with Prince and Luther Vandross, DJ Jules was playing that shit. If you went to Canal Street, you went to Canal Bar, you went to Whore Bar, you went to fucking see Beaver and Patrick Moxie. Yo, all these shits were playing after 2 o'clock in the morning. When you're stoned and you're trying to get laid, like that was the music that was playing. You go to Palladium, you know, see Jelly Bean Benitez at Irving Plaza. You see Clark Kent, may rest in peace, Irving Plaza. You know what I mean? Like, you could go anywhere and 4 o'clock, the world, like, oh my God, the world was crazy. Bro, all right, here's a crazy ass story about CJ McIntosh and Pump Up the Volume. I'm outside the world, me and my man Med, right? GYP Posse, shout out. Me and my man Med, we outside. We're waiting on the phone. Put a quarter in, cause you know, waiting for my people. So we waiting on the phone. Baddie on the phone, Dominican chick, Baddie. Her and the homegirl. Cool. Like, waiting on the phone. Like, she's, oh, who you waiting on? Call my people. Now we start talking. Blah, blah, blah. One thing leads to another. She's like, oh, you going into the world? We're like, yeah, you want to come in with us? What? You can get us in? Like, yeah, my man's at the door. Yeah, come on. So we're like, oh, popping, right? Get him in. Baddie. Go upstairs. Russell's there. Everybody's chilling. 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, things start to get that. Like all those remixes from the UK. This chick, I don't even remember her name because you'll just see the end of the story. She kisses me on the cheek and she goes, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go change. Change into what? She had a leather jacket. She had a T-shirt. She had jeans on. She looked dope. I'm like, what are you changing into? But like, whatever. I'm now intrigued. And her homegirl is just with us. And my man Med's looking at her like, what is your girl? She's like, just watch. And now I'm like, oh shit, this might be special. Hey yo, this chick comes out of the bathroom in a negligee. Everything out. And she's like, and she comes up to me with this face. And I'm like, and she's like, call me D Clay. And I was like, no, I won't. And I dip behind the stage. And she's running around looking for me in a blue negligee. And I'm scared out of my mind. Like, yo, what the fuck was that? Like, I wanted the Dominican chick from Red Hook with the... So anyway, those were the records that got them girls turned up like that. They would go into the bathroom, become the T-Rex. But those were the records, like, yo, at a certain time in New York, that's where it went.
Makes sense.
Thank you. I hope it did. It made a lot of sense to me.
Too much.
Listen. Just really quickly. This is DJ history in here. So, Joel's partner in Tampa, DJ Dave Seaburn. I gotta really recognize him. Dave Seaburn at 911 Fahrenheit. That club in Tampa created the Ministry of Sound with Diplo and Moby and Seaburn. That motherfucker had all the records. My man Dave Seaburn had no records. That dude literally had all the records. And that whole Ministry of Sound that came out of Tampa, because of his fucking record collection. So thank you, Joel.
Thank you, Joel.
There's a lot of DJs that don't even know how to applaud you. They're so fucking mesmerized by what I said. Anyway, sorry, I had to give my flowers.
Got to give your voice some love.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Sam Sever question. You see Ice Cube interviews.
Which one?
I'm just saying, like, you see Ice Cube interviews.
Ice Cube interviews, okay.
And you hear him talk about the point in his career when he left MWA and he's trying to figure out what to do when he's going solo when he goes to New York. He was looking for Sam Sever originally, right, before he found Bomb Squad.
He didn't find Bomb Squad. Bomb
No?
Squad found him.
Okay.
So he was at Def Jam. He was at the office. I'll tell the story. You don't have to ask the question. I'll tell the story.
You read my mind.
Yeah, that's it. All right, so here it is. So there's proof on how big Third Base was on the West Coast. Like, listen to Compton's Most Wanted's first record. One time gaffled them up. When they got gaffled, what were they bumping? When we did our album party in L.A., everyone was there. Like, everyone was there. TV, film, music, it was crazy what that album was doing. We go on tour, we come back, I'm at Def Jam, and right there, it's fucking Q. So, what up? I didn't know what he was doing there. He didn't even tell me at that moment what he was doing there. He said he's just coming to work on his album. I said, what's the name of the album? He said, America's Most Wanted. I said, fresh. And then we just bounced. I'm backstage at Arsenio Hall the second time. Mac Miller, may he rest in peace, first time I ever met him. If you ever scroll in my Instagram, the very first post ever on my gram is Arsenio Hall, Mac Miller, and me. That fucking so the second episode, I was on there promoting my TV show because I had a talk show on some channel. So I'm there, and Cube's there with Tony Draper. Tony Draper's from Houston. That's why I point to AJ from Houston. Shout out to the vibe in Houston, AJ. Anyway, so he says to me, Cube, out of nowhere, he's like, yo, remember when we saw each other in New York? I said, yeah. He goes, you know why I was there, right? I said, yeah, to work on, America's Most Wanted with fucking the Bomb Squad. He said, nah, that's not true. I said, well, yeah, that's what he said, no, I was there to work with Sam Sever. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. I said, and backstage, I'm like, fuck. He's like, Serch. I said, get the fuck out of here. I said, Q, fuck out of here. He's like, and Tony Draper's like, nah, he said that shit like 100 times. I'm like, and I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, yo, what happened? He said, I called Lior. And I said, Lior, I want to meet with Sam. And Sam never showed up. So he was there. Chuck came in, and Chuck and Vietnam Sadler and Keith Shockley, they were working on a song called Burn Hollywood Burn with Big Daddy Kane at Green Street Studios, which was literally like 5 blocks away. You come out on Broadway, you make a left, you go to Hudson, you make a right, you go to Green Street, you make a left, 2 blocks left-hand side. He goes there, and America's Most Wanted. So I know what Sam has said. I understand what Sam has said. Sam is wrong. I don't know how any other way to say it, but Sam is incorrect. And whatever happened that day, whether he got contacted or not, that's the reason a man was in New York.
Right.
He called Lior from LA. Yo, I want to fuck with Sam Sever. I want to make America's Most Wanted with Sam Sever. Whatever happened, happened. That's it.
So hypothetically,
no, there's no hypothetically. That's it.
No.
I know what you're gonna say. Yes, Sam Sever should have produced America's Most Wanted.
I want
yes.
you to tell me, butterfly effect. What if he did do that? What would that sound like? Like, what would the
it would have been crazy.
What would the trickle down impact? I mean,
have you heard Tayshaun? I'm a black man.
I don't know if I have.
Then that's a no. Yo, Sam Sever recorded an R&B artist on Def Jam named Tayshaun. That fucking album, I will put that album up on against Marvin Gaye. I will put that album up against Luther Vandross. That shit is fucking beautiful, beginning to end. This man is talking about black empowerment, and the producer who made it is as white as fucking night. Crazy album. That shit would have been crazy. Like, yo, Sam was... Listen to the beats on Derelicts of Dialect. Sam was in his bag, bro. And he made a huge publishing deal. He had a beautiful penthouse. That album... I would like to just say that Everything Happens for a Reason, America's Most Wanted, is a genius piece of work. Fucking killed it. It's exactly the way it's supposed to be. they should let Sam Sever remix that bitch. They should just give him the stems. Let him go to work.
To see what might have,
Oh,
could have been.
No, not what could have. What would be. Now, see, this is the thing that's fucked up in our thinking. Why does it have to be what could have been? His lyrics are still incredible.
All right.
I want to hear what it sounds like today. Not what could have been. Could have been already happened. I want to hear what Sam's shit sounds like on those verses today, because that's important. Now is important. Not what happened back then. I don't give a fuck about back then. Back then already happened. I want to know what it sounds like in real time. And to me, that's like a mentality that puts a wall and a block up on our progress. As OGs, it puts a block in our progress and how we move forward. Because we're stuck in the past on how great the past was. I'm fucking focused on how great the future is, the present is. I'm fucking with Bodie James. I'm fucking with Rob 49. I'm fucking with Nisha Nashay. I'm fucking with Helliva. I'm fucking Wayne 616. I'm fucking with real ones out here, bro. Bodie James, bro. Benny the Butcher, man. I'm fucking with real ones, bro. I'm here. I know what I did. I got the fucking mug, the world's greatest dad t-shirt. I got all that shit. I'm here now because I don't want to worry about what could have, should have, would have. Fuck that. It's not the strong who survives, it's the flexible. We get so inflexible getting stuck that we don't even see the progress in our own fucking forward momentum. I'll get off my fucking soapbox.
No, not at all. I love it. But do you think like the chaos and like the sound bites and the layers and the layers and the layers and the ways that objectively like the Bomb Squad was different?
Oh,
and
no.
The way that Sam like produced would be hard to translate into like.
No, I think you're over intellectualizing.
No, okay,
it.
that's fair.
I think you're over intellectualizing it, and I don't.
Because one of the key
and let me tell you
characteristics
something.
of
And I
America's
know, and
Most
I
Wanted
respect
was
that.
the chaotic sound.
No, and I respect the fact that as a DJ and what you do and what you love to do is pick apart music. That's what DJs do, right? So I respect that, but I think you're over maybe intellectualizing the creative process, which is you go in a lab, and this is how music got made back then, and I think it's probably still getting made like this today. You go in a lab, you hear a track. If the track is whack, you move to the next track until you get to a track that's like, oh shit, I can write something to this track. Then you write something to that track. And if that track is dope, maybe you put it out. If it's not, you trash it and you come back to that track. The creative process, right, and how we create, you can tier it and you can level it and you can say it's intricate and you can say, but it's really basic. It's like, this is my impulse. This is what feels good. This is what sounds good. This is what even smells good. And I'm going to put my stamp on this. And my producer, if he's any good, he's going to match my energy with what he does creatively. Like when I hear this track, right? When you hear the, ooh, my momo, right? Right? I added that as a homage to But My Balls Itch off Cactus.
Lucy Ball.
And yeah, flipping off the wall. And when we made this track, when we were thinking about it, the layers of this track, right? So you have the main sample, and then it breaks down.
So on and so on.
Right. So my whole thing was like when we were like building this track up, we stripped it down, right? So, but that was in the creative process. That wasn't in the explanation. That wasn't in the definition. That was in the execution. The curation was like, okay, this beat sounds good. These third bass, but not a bass for slide in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everything fit. You know what I'm saying? Like it all sequenced properly. I couldn't, like right now, even if I wanted to freestyle over this, I couldn't. Because my head doesn't even think about, my muscle memory is about performing this.
So you kind of beat me to one of my questions that I was going to ask later. And it's about the actual like artistic process, which is fascinating to me to see how artists' brains work when they create in that way.
Hey, do me a favor. Go to, you have It's a Vibe. It's a Vibe, the MC Serch record. It's a Vibe. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I was going to say like, is it track followed by writing vocals every time, or do you sit in your car and imagine certain like lines and rhymes and word structure before you have any beat as a reference? Like, how do you arrive at the end? And is it always the same, or does it like take different forms? Like, what's that like for you personally?
So 95% of the time it's lyrics first.
Okay.
I write every day. I write at least 4 bars every day. So it's always lyrics first.
Are you one of these like photographic memory MCs, or do you put it in your phone?
No, both. But I have a photographic memory.
Okay.
But it's not for lyrics. It's like for people and times and things that I experienced. Like it's just I've always, since I'm a kid, lived in this amazement and gratitude. It's just something that's been innate. So I wanted to capture every moment that I could. Like I'll never forget that there's a DDJ REV7 mixer behind his head. Like that's just because I'm fixated and, you know, Raekwon and Outkast and Fat Joe and E40. So that'll just be that, right? So my brain works like, and how it functions like with this. That's why I wanted him to bring this record up, right? So when I wrote this, I put this out like 4 years ago. This record represented to me like an idea in my head of how I felt about hip hop every day that I woke up. And at the time when I wrote this, because there was no music, so this music right here that you hear, all of it, I wrote it. All of it.
So when you say you wrote music, you had like the idea of the instrumentation in your head?
Correct.
And then went to a producer and said, here's
No,
what
I
need
went
you
to a musician.
Okay.
So my man Brockett the Rocket Parsons, who plays piano for Lady Gaga, who's got that big circular piano, he did that. And then Chris, Lady Gaga's drummer, did that. And then the horn section I wrote. Like I literally wrote it. And this record, I was spending 28 out of 30 days a month in Miami. And I was outside and I was getting it, and I was in like living a life, and I had the idea of the lyrics in my head for years. And then I heard and then I said to my man Brockett, like, yo, you hear this? And he was like, yeah. And then he started playing, and it just, yeah. So this record, and what was beautiful, so I do the video, right? So I do Cassidy's 50th anniversary of hip hop myself. I'm at Radio City. I'm purposely gonna drop the record that week. My car company just drops. We just put our Rivero in the street. So I got the first one driving around New York. I pull up on my boardwalk that I grew up on, that I played handball on, that I played baseball on, that I sold drugs on, that I had my first kiss on, that my mother beat my ass on, that I spent every summer on. And I pulled up in a $400,000 car that is part of my fucking brand. And I had 2,000 people from my hood, and we did a Far Rock barbecue, and we fed 2,000 people. And I'm outside, and I'm telling kids, I come from you. I come from PS 197. I come from IS 53. I come from 711 Almont Road. Don't look at this. I was broke. I was block cheese and ketchup sandwiches, my dude. Like, I lived on this handball court. I lived in that baseball field. I lived on this beach. This is you. And every time I hear this record, and it's so funny. Like, the one statistic I look for every year at the end of Spotify's Best Artists is how many records didn't get played. Last year, 47 million songs had 0 plays. Like, motherfucker, you don't even like your shit enough to play your shit once? Like, you don't even want to hear yo shit? Like, I'm supposed to listen to yo shit, but you give yo shit a donut? 47 million records got donuts. I listen to my shit every day, 10 times a day. Why not? I make music for myself. The beautiful thing about my life and this record, and you talk about like building story, I'm at a place in my life where my music doesn't have to carry the burden of my lifestyle. I'm back to where I was when I first started making rap records. I just make them because I love them. And people always say like, oh, why don't you promote your shit? Why do I have to? It's outside. Like, you want to test it, test it. If you love it, great. If you don't, great. Let's keep it moving. Because I'm going to still make music. I told you, I'm working on an album now. Like, I'm not going to promote it. I'm going to be signing some fuck. Third Base is going to release the unreleased third album, Ichabod's Cranium, that everybody's been waiting on. So we're going to promote that. But my music's for me. This record is 3 minutes and 11 seconds of how I feel about hip hop every day. Play that shit. I'm going to just stand here and listen and smoke a L or some shit. I don't know.